Hey everybody, it's Natalie Santa Rosa here, and I'm going to be talking about today how to pick a niche, right? So maybe you've heard about niching down, but you just don't know how to do that, or maybe you're not sure what you should pick, or maybe you're afraid that you might be limiting yourself, right? So in this video today, I'm going to be talking about all those things and actually a 3-step process that I recommend for my clients and Grow Your Impact of how to actually pick a niche and attract the type of ideal clients you want to work with. So one thing I want to bring up first of all is don't feel like you should work with everyone. A lot of people think that that's the best thing to do, right? We want to be helpful. We want to help people. But in doing that, we might actually be hurting us and the client, okay? It's best if you can be an expert and a specialist in one thing. And when you do that, you're able to better serve your clients and you can give them better results because you're able to really niche down and focus on one thing. While also simultaneously, it simplifies your business. This is one of the best things about this, is it allows you essentially from a marketing point of view to attract the type of ideal client you want to work with ease. And when you go after everyone, it makes your business so much more complicated. It makes it so that you're having to do different kinds of marketing for everyone because you're serving all kinds of different people. Instead of saying, hey, with my nutrition business, I really want to help women who are struggling with their hormones. Or, hey, I really want to help people who have a bad relationship with food, right? I want to help those women who are in their early to mid or late 20s develop a better relationship with food. And by doing that, you can better serve that group of people. And it also keeps your business much more simplified, which means it's easier for you to attract more of the ideal clients you want to work with. And it also means from a work point of view, it's going to simplify your life in ways you can't imagine. Because imagine having to develop all kinds of different ways of helping people. That's more difficult. You're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing the client a disservice. So now with that said, we talked about the importance of niching down. Let's go ahead and dive into kind of the 3-step process that I want you to do whenever you decide to pick a niche and really commit to it, okay? So step 1 that you want to do is to actually decide what you're passionate about. And what I do for this is if you find that you're passionate about 5 different things, that's okay right now. We are just in the exploratory phase right now. We don't have to be like, this is the one thing, unless you have one thing. If you just have one thing, write down that one thing. But what I'd recommend is writing down, 5 things that you're passionate about. So go ahead, get out a piece of paper, pause the video, and write down 5 things. After you've written down those 5 things, what I want you to do is I want you to really think about, are those 5 things that you listed, do you have really a good skill level at that, right? Maybe you've always wanted to help people deal with anxiety, but you just don't have that much experience in that, okay? It might not be something you have an experience in yet, even though you want to go into it, okay? So in this case, what you want to do is then number 2, make a list of 5 things, right, that you find that you have the highest skill level at, okay? So what's your skill level at different niches, right? What certain niches do you get the best client feedback? So if you have worked with other nutrition clients, what you want to do is you want to think about, hey, did I get the best feedback when it came to weight loss? Did I get the best feedback when it came to sports performance? What are people saying? What do people like about me, right? And by doing that, that's really, if you can identify it for yourself, that's going to give a clear picture of, what you really are most skilled at, which is also important, okay? Then the third thing you want to do is you want to decide what the market wants. So what do I mean by that? So essentially, the market is actually the most important thing. Even though I told you to list 5 of the number 1 thing, 5 of the skill levels, you really want to think about first and foremost what the market wants. Because ultimately, even if you really, really enjoy, like, I know this isn't going to be for anybody, but I'm trying to make this exaggerated. If you really enjoy underwater basket weaving, okay? But people just aren't really in the market for baskets that are, done underwater, right? They're made underwater. You're probably going to have a hard time then when you're trying to actually sell your services, right? So make sure it's something that people actually want. Make sure it's something that people actually have a need for. And the best way to do this is to take 5 of what you're passionate about and the skill level, right? And after you've written out 5 for each of those, and write down for each of the different things that you picked, right? Niches that you picked for number 1 and number 2, write down all the fears, desires, etc. of those 5 different niches. And when you do that, that's going to give you a clear picture, right? You're going to have to do some research here, but that's the point of this. We're not just picking this based off of us. We're picking this based off of what people actually want, because that's how you want to structure your business. And what you're doing is you're essentially deciding, hey, what's the biggest fears and desires of people out there, and how can I best serve them? Because the number 1 thing you always want to ask when you're building a business is not, what do I want to do? It's how can I best serve people? How can I best serve people? Which is why it's also important to think about your skill level, and also because you want to be passionate about it, right? You don't want to be in something that you don't enjoy. Okay, so if maybe you're really great at diabetes management, but you absolutely hate it, don't pick that as a niche. That is not for you anymore, okay? But it should come into account. And let's say your skill level is just not all the way there in a niche that you're passionate about, and you know that there's a high market need and want and desire in. That doesn't mean that you should just say, I'm not going to do it. That means you need to do additional research. That means you need to do additional work in that niche to get more experience, okay? So don't let it detract you if you feel like, I think I'd have to be more qualified to work with that. Don't let that hold you back from doing something that you're really passionate about and that you want to do, okay? Because this is the thing, if you've ever heard of the concept of imposter syndrome. I hadn't actually heard of it until recently, if you can believe it, because I'd always just chopped it up to having a lack of confidence, because that's what it really ultimately is. And what you have to realize about confidence is that it doesn't just naturally appear one day. You're going to feel like an imposter if you want to go into a new field and you're just not used to it yet. But what you have to do is think to yourself, hey, how can I act from a place of the person I want to be? So say you want to go into, helping women with their hormones, but you just don't have enough experience and expertise. All that means is you need to start doing more research, you need to start working with that niche, and you need to start getting experience. Because when you do that, it's actually fairly easy, if you're just concentrating on one thing, to get highly highly specialized and increase your expertise exponentially. But if you find that you're just kind of always dabbling, right? And this is why it's a problem with picking multiple niches. If you're always dabbling, getting that kind of expertise is going to be much more time consuming. It's going to be much more challenging. So to kind of review everything, everybody, for picking a niche, what do we do first? We list 5 things that we are interested in, right? 5 things we're passionate about. If you don't have 5 things, that's fine. This is just for all those people out there that feel really confused about what you should be doing. The second thing is, where did you get the best client feedback? What are you the most skilled in? What do you feel like you've had the highest levels of results and success in? Make a note of those fields. Then lastly, really do some research in those niche. Find out the fears, desires, etc. of that niche and list them. And then the best thing to do is pick the one with the highest level here, because that way you know that they need this and they're actually going to want to buy what you have to offer, okay? Don't assume just automatically, oh, I am my niche, so my niche is gonna want it. That's the wrong kind of mindset here. Actually do your research, actually speak to people, right? Actually go and join like maybe some Facebook groups with these people. Learn what they want. And when you offer what they want, that's what gets really special, and it makes attracting ideal clients very easy. It's how you can attract them with ease, okay? So also, if you are new here, go ahead and click the subscribe button down below. I also have a free training video on, how to actually get to those 8K plus months, how to get unstuck and feel like you're actually making progress. I also talk about my simple sales process. So if you feel like the sales and marketing thing is just like, I'm not sure how to tackle it, I feel super, super overwhelmed, and I feel like I'm gonna have like a panic attack and then I just give up, then that's the video for you. So go ahead down below, check out that video, and you're also welcome. I'm doing a thing now where I give away free 45-minute calls, all right? These are calls for a time where if you're feeling really, really confused on what you should be doing, it allows you to have a clear plan of, hey, these are the things that I'm kind of lacking in. These are the things I need to start working on. And even what are the next steps so that I can start progressing towards it, okay? So if any of that interests you at all, go ahead and go and look in the link below, and I'll have that video posted down there. All right, as always, leave me a comment below too if there's something you want me to talk about next week, and that next video will be out next Friday.